Welcome to Capture the Reps podcast, the podcast for fitness creatives by fitness creatives. Each episode, we will dive into techniques, strategies, and behind-the-scenes stories to help fast-track your career. Whether you're behind the camera or in front of it, this is the space to grow, create, and connect. Hit it, Sam. Capture the Reps podcast, we're back again. Today, we're here with Adam Everett.
What's going on?
Owner of Desert City Classic. Probably one of the best competitions I've been a part of.
Oh, you're just saying that.
I am kind of.
The best.
No, but honestly, it's been really cool to see the evolution. Of course, we got Chris behind the camera as well.
What's up?
Chris, we're still working on your setup. You're doing great though, buddy. You look great.
I like my dungeon.
I like it, yeah.
I like the dungeon.
You know, he is sporting
chilling.
a fresh haircut that he left to last episode to get.
I did. That did happen.
Yes.
It looks good.
It was
Yes.
important.
I'm jealous.
I had,
I mean,
to look,
yeah.
I had to look this good to look half as good as that guy.
I know. And the whole lack of hair thing, you know, it's like,
You know,
yeah.
I mean,
people have to
but
do
here's the thing. Some people can rock it, but some people can rock it. You know what I mean? Yes, exactly.
I've been doing this for 15 years. 15 years I've been shaving my head.
Wow.
So
That's as long as
I've had to do this.
Jake has been shooting with a camera.
Yeah, so our last guest, Jake, has been filming for 15 years.
Yep. There we go. So I can be an expert in pretty much just that.
I mean, if you started an entire
Podcast
on
shaving.
here's
Head
how
shaving?
here's how to properly handle this stage of life and how to make
Yes.
yourself look even better.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know
Well,
JT
you
would be
know-
the first subscriber and listener.
I'm losing my hair very fast. Yeah.
And I'll tell you this, just a little tangent here, but it was a camera that captured my bald spot. I was at an event. I was looking down. I was in the background, so I wasn't in like the actual picture itself or the focus of it. And I'm in the background. My head's down, and they just got a really nice crisp look at the horseshoe effect on top of my dome.
Yeah.
And they posted it on, back in the day, it wasn't Instagram, it was Facebook.
Yeah.
And Facebook, it was tagged in it, and I was embarrassed. Really.
Damn, they
First of
tagged
all,
you?
They
yeah,
tagged me.
that's kind of messed up on the
They tagged
creator
me.
side.
That's crazy.
And it was bad. So
Yeah.
I was asking Sherry, my wife, I was like, hey, does my hair look like this? Like where you can see the dome, like the little
Yeah.
Dr. Phil look? She was like, yeah, I thought you knew that. Ooh.
Tough.
So
that was like a double.
That was the day
Yeah.
I started shaving.
Fair enough.
Yep.
That's
it.
crazy.
I'm fighting
So thank you, creatives, for capturing that.
I was gonna say, I getting married in a few months, and literally I'm like, hey, no photos from behind because there's a little spot back here,
Oh.
and I'm like, hey, Gabe. I don't know if Gabe would be watching this. What's up, Gabe?
What's
Probably
up,
not.
Gabe?
Definitely not.
He might. I don't know. Literally, I was like, hey, nothing from the back. So
Yeah.
we're not gonna. do
Okay.
that. But yeah. Anyways, Desert City. So. Today I want to cover, from a media perspective. So we've talked a lot about competitions from a creator side of how to go about doing it, how to conduct yourself while you're there, effective strategies, tips, all those techniques and all that, what equipment to bring. But we haven't looked at it from the competition side. So you being the owner of Desert City Classic, like all of those things that you look for whenever you are hiring for media director or just to be on the media team, like what you actually look for. So I want to start with like a wide scoping look at that concept of like what makes an effective team in your opinion, like what do you look for, all those things. And then I want to get specific with it and like nail out key items that each person, whenever you are in that interview process, what you look for in order to, take the next step in to hire them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when we started Desert City, my brother-in-law and I, Ryan, the co-founder, we
Also does not have hair.
also just that's true. Just in the last couple of years, shaved it off. We wanted to tell the story of Desert City. Like we wanted to be able to really capture people's imaginations in the sense of what does it look like to be up against a challenge, and what does it look like for them to see themselves as a part of this competition. Whether you're I think a lot of times we look at and think about the elite athlete when it comes to capturing moments, but there's so many moments in everybody's, fitness journey that, and by and large, could be a pinnacle of their success in their fitness journey and a highlight through a competition like ours. And there's several that are incredible over the course of the last few years. There have been so many that I've admired and looked up to as far as like telling a story and really highlighting fitness as a whole. So for us, like when we started out this journey, it was to do that. It was to highlight people's fitness journeys and to really celebrate with them their accomplishments and their fitness goals, and Desert City being a part of that. And so we knew we needed to bring in people that were quote unquote experts in the field to be able to, and that had experience like on a games level, to be able to do that and to showcase that. So that was when we were first like still at the gym, so this Desert City started in my gym and we grew it from there. It was really a dream from the previous owners of that gym to say, hey, there's a need here. Let's meet this need and let's have a competition.
Right.
And it was kind of like more of a local focus. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to broaden that and use social media and use other media forums to be able to say, hey, this is a highlight of Attesta Fitness for not just Arizona, but the whole Southwest region and now the whole nation. Right. So that's kind of how we started. But really, I think the biggest point I want to make in that is just like, how are we telling the story and people's stories through various means of media?
Yeah, and what I really like is there's always a reason behind everything that Desert City does. Like there's a why, where it's not just, hey, we're not just creating content or we're not just like creating something to just create it. Like the reason why we're doing this is because we want to showcase X, Y, or Z. I mean, you just came from a mission trip. Like that idea of having that built into the framework of everything, I think is largely impactful. And from a media perspective, then, when you're looking at Desert City, like what impact does the media team have on, the different registrations that happen, maybe the reach that happens? I mean, probably one of the most active Instagram accounts I've ever seen, with your memes, of course. Like, talk to me through that, just so that people can understand like the value that media can bring to an event. Yeah.
So when I think about an event, I think about who is our target audience. And one of the things that a framework that I've always gone by is, it's a company called Story Brand, but the author or the owner of that company, Donald Miller, came up with this whole framework. Essentially it's like, it follows a storyline. So good marketing follows a storyline. And his whole thing in that is, there's a hero in the story, there's a villain in the story. And so when good marketing, and what I've always looked at is, I don't want to be the hero, I want to be the guide, right? So like, I want to be Obi-Wan, right, to Luke Skywalker, right? Luke Skywalker is the hero. We're just the sage, the old sage that's like giving people an opportunity to guide them in a way that will highlight their heroism, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, like his whole thing is like when you so like if Desert City was positioning ourselves as the hero, we would be in direct opposition of our target audience. The athlete wants to be the hero, and we actually, in fact, want the athlete to be the hero. What's unique about an event, though, is you have multiple heroes in the event, right? So it's not just the athletes, although that's the main focus. We don't have a competition without athletes, but there's sponsors that are also the heroes of the story. We have volunteers that are also the heroes of the story. And I also take it a little bit step further of like, we also have family and friends and what we would call affiliates or like community. And the CrossFit community, I mean, that's why people a lot of times get into CrossFit is because of the community. They're tired of the Globo gym and, doing things isolated or solo. And they experience a richness within their fitness journey by having a community that's backing them, that's accountability, it's encouragement, challenge, all those things, right? And so I would say those are the 4 tenets of our focus when it comes to elevating our event. And I would say from a creative standpoint, like the creatives that are on our team have to have that direction,
right.
Have to have that framework. Hey, we're not the hero. We're gonna Desert City's not the hero. We're gonna make these people and these categories or brands the hero of this story, and we're gonna tell their story in such a way that's compelling to other people to be able to do exactly what they're doing next year, the year after. And so you can see how that then fuels registration and fuels opportunities for us to have brands come along and be a part of, because they're like, man, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And so in some cases, it's like we're creating a movement, and that's what a brand really does. It's like, it's not a product, it's not a one-time service. It really is a collective of people that liken to or adhere to the philosophy of what we're trying to do together. And that's what makes it so special.
Yeah. I love that you rely and you lean on media to accomplish all of those goals.
Absolutely.
Because, it's one thing to say and go out and meet people and network at different gyms and stuff like that. But to use media to also enhance that message and take it a step further, I think, first of all, if you want to go, like you said, from that gym to the regional to a United States focus, I mean, that's the way to do it.
Absolutely.
So with that, the structure. So how is the structure of the media team set up, and what went into that decision process?
I mean, well, you've been a huge part of that, so you can probably speak into this more than I can.
People are so sick and tired of me talking on this thing.
Yes.
It is your podcast.
It is my podcast. I like to make the guest the hero to continue the theme here.
There we go.
So
Come on.
Continue on, sir.
Yeah, I mean, to me, my leadership and what I want to do with this is I want to so I'll use this as an example, but leaders don't drive results. They steward environments that produce fruit. And so for me, my leadership, or how we would lead, Ryan and I both, is we want to bring out the best in people, and we want to give people a shot. And so, that comes from local talent, like yourself, you have more experience outside of just Phoenix, but we met because I didn't know you from anyone else. You came into, our event saying, hey, I want to just spotlight and highlight our gym. And we're like, great, that's cool. And then we saw what you were able to do in telling a story through CrossFit Magna and those athletes a couple years ago.
Best gym in the Valley.
Yep. One of the best gyms in the Valley.
You can't say that. There are other gyms that are going to watch it. You can't say that. Yeah.
They are currently the
number one.
That's
right.
In our affiliate cup.
Jeez, I wonder why that happened.
Number
Couldn't
one.
imagine.
Number one in your hearts. Number one in the affiliate leaderboard.
That's it. But yeah, so we saw you and first and foremost who you are as a human being. You are being interviewed not just by what you did on the competition floor, but by how you carried yourself. How you conducted yourself around athletes and around our staff, around our team, those types of things. That character, outweighs competency all day for me.
Right.
And so that's first and foremost. And we are, as you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of why behind what we do. We constantly and consistently say, you mentioned the mission trip, we are not just a competition. We've never thought of, we're just going to do a competition. That's never been our reasoning. And it's always been a bigger vision beyond just the competition. So having people that have those values and really that we that we actually like to be around and create with. I talk about partnership being a shared vision and equal sacrifice. And so I think about our employees or our team as partners. And so we're sharing a vision and we have equal sacrifice that we're playing into that. And so it's truly a win-win. So that's first and foremost. And then all the other stuff kind of comes from that. But so local Local talent has been really big for us. You know, doing life with people has been big with us. Like beyond, as you know, and experience this year, and really lay the foundation. It's not just a hired hand and bringing people in and all those things. It's like, what can we do together that's beyond just the event? And how can we establish a season that Desert City can be a part of for our brands and for our athletes, and continue to highlight that. I'll say this, there's a lot of competitions, and not in a negative way, because it is a lot of work, that will ramp up, and they're like, all of a sudden they're like, now they're posting, you know, and it's like, and then they go dark after the comp, and you're like, where'd they go?
Yeah.
What happened? You know, and I don't want to be that.
Right.
Again, it's because of our philosophy of being beyond just competition.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the foundation of it.
Now, everyone that's listening right now has an understanding of like what Desert City, as an example of a competition, like everything that it encompasses as far as like values and what it values from media people to enhance certain messages. I always find it better to have, when I look at, you know, media teams in general, people trying to get on media teams, it's like, you have to realize that the competition isn't just the workouts, isn't just the athletes that are working out. There's always these other things. So when you're positioning yourself and you're talking to the competition, like it's always great to actually ask these questions of like, oh, like, what do you guys value? Like, talk to me about your history and all that kind of stuff, and not just try to jump in and like, here's my portfolio, let me know if I can help. Like, show that you have some interest and you care and that you understand what they're doing. Maybe do a little bit of homework and all that kind of stuff.
Nobody needs another, like, no, like, I don't need another, like, cool shot of somebody doing a workout. But I do need our vision, mission, and values expressed through the workouts or the events that we put on.
Yeah. So let's talk about now specifically for an individual. Let's say, I mean, let's just ride with the Desert City example, because that's something that we know near and dear. That idea of like, okay, hey, I am sitting in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Oh,
yeah.
Go Vikings,
cold.
Right?
And I want to be somewhere warm.
And yeah, and it's October. It's November. Sorry, November. November. 7th to the 9th.
Well, you're probably thinking into October, I want to go somewhere in
Right.
November.
Yeah, right. Exactly,
okay, cool.
exactly. It's November. It's cold. I see this competition in Arizona. I would love an opportunity to get on the media team.
Well, if it's November...
Sorry. Excuse me.
You're
correct.
Or
so
October, or this year, for that matter.
So you shouldn't be hitting them up.
Yeah. We work a year in advance.
Yeah.
You know, we try to get on top of things. So if you're anywhere near that year, you done messed up.
So I mean, that's a good point. So like, if timeline comes up, you know, and you're asking somebody, like, for example, like Desert City media team, like when I put that together, we were talking like January, February, as far as like who we wanted and all that kind of stuff. And then, I mean, things are finalized way before then. I want to say March or June is when everybody kind of knew where they stood. And then July, everything gets finalized. So it's like,
budget set.
So if you want to get into a paid position on a media team, or I've seen a lot of this recently, is like sell your media packages, whatever it is, you have to plan in advance. So that would be number one. If for whatever reason life happens and you can't plan in advance, or you just find something, then how you make up for that is to volunteer your time to get down there, and on your own dime in a lot of cases, if you're a newer, and just get the experience and all of that, so that next year you become almost like on a preferred type list, preferred vendor, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Kind of way.
Yeah, and I would say the other thing too that just came to my mind is like, do your homework, you know, look at our stuff, like research.
Yeah.
everything.
So when you ask, have an educated conversation.
And not to just be like, oh, well, I see you guys are doing this and I could do it better. But like, what's your niche? Like, what's your specific focus that you can add to a media team? You know, lead with that. Like, I don't need another photographer just to have a photographer. Like, I specialize in this, or like I really want to curate this, or I really want to be a part of, like, my niche is these things. I really do a good job with this. Is there value I can add to your event by this, right? I was just talking to a buddy of mine in Santiago. He owns STI CrossFit. His name's Mateo. Good friend of mine. Incredible creative. Like, dude he's killing it, man. And he's had to learn that. Like, he didn't start off that way. Like, he's had to learn all this as being an entrepreneur and a business owner. Mm-hmm. And he's just sort of fell into this. It's really awesome. But we had a conversation. He's like, man, I'd love to, at some point, he's not necessarily saying this year, but he's like, man, if this year happens, like, I'd love to come up and just be a part of Desert City. And like, and he's asking me the questions, like, what would you want? You know my style. Like, how could I fit in and as a part of the team? Like, what could I contribute? I love that question.
Yeah, it's going about it the right way and the right verbiage and things like that. Right. I mean, it's the same thing if you try to sell, working with a brand or working with an athlete. You're not going to like say like, hey, what you guys are doing right now is bad. I'm better, and here's my stuff. Well, it's gonna be, hey, I noticed you're doing this. Like, I'd love to help elevate or something to that effect. But
when you think about you as a creative, like, that's you're a business. You provide a service, and so as a part of being a business and providing a service, like, you are selling that service, and so you got to be good at sales. Like, and there's a lot of creatives I've talked to. I'm like, man, like, you can't talk to people. Like, this is not good.
There's
what I mean?
A lot of them.
And so that's what I would say is like, man, you gotta brush up on your people skills. You gotta brush up on like you're selling yourself. I know it sounds weird, but that's a part of it. And so like in sales, like asking a lot more questions than you give declaratives or answers and things like that. Like, that to me is a good start.
If you could craft the perfect cold DM, let's say it's February, like we're in the planning mode, you receive a DM, what would like I guess people are going to actually do this probably now, but like what would be like a perfect DM for you to receive where you're like, okay, that's enough to where you send it my way and I'm like, okay, I'll take a closer look at this person.
Something to the effect of showing that you've seen our stuff. So, hey, love your stuff, love this specific thing. Like, give me a specific that you've seen that you really love, mm-hmm. so I can see, like, and tell, oh, you're not just blowing smoke, but you've actually seen it. To, like, basically giving respect and like understanding of like, hey, you probably have everything already lined up for this year. Just wanted to, offer this type of service as an add-on for what you're doing. If there's any opportunity for us to partner together, I love that word, but like if there's a way in which we could partner and I can contribute or reduce my rate in such a way that I can not be a burden on the budget, I would love to gift that to Desert City this year in hopes of showing you what I got. Something like that. It's like, boom, boom, boom. It's like 3 check marks for me. It's like, okay, this woman or this man has something to offer us that's beyond just trying to, make a quick buck or get their name out somewhere. It's like they really want to be a part of this.
Right. So
that to me helps.
The idea of partnership.
Absolutely.
Like, because at the same time too, on a creator side, by me going there and filming, let's say it's we can stay with Desert City. I don't know why I'm trying to vary away from it. I mean, your branding is on point. You're literally wearing the shirt. You got the color scheme going on. The shoes match, by the way. You got to throw the shoes up because they can't even see it. Yeah, with that, like, I know if I'm going there, like, if I'm a greener, younger videographer, photographer, I'll try to get on the media team using that strategy. If that doesn't work, I don't get a response or whatever, I wait too long, whatever it is, I can still go, I can still show up, I can still grab assets, and then I can utilize that in next year's pitch to you. Hey, Been coming to your event, went to your event last year. Here's like some of my visuals that I got. Loved what your team did. Would really love to partner with you guys next year in some capacity. Yeah. So like there's two different routes. Like there's not one wrong or right way to do it. Right. There's plenty of ways to get that initial conversation out there. And I think doing that is very important as opposed to just kind of showing up and trying to like muscle your way through there.
Right, absolutely.
So what I really liked in your response is marketing yourself as a creative. And looking at yourself as a business. I know Chris has good insight on that.
Yeah, I think it's encouraging to hear from somebody as yourself, like an owner and operator of a big competition like Desert City, giving guidance to people who have been in similar places such as JT and myself, especially because I feel like for you and me specifically, I feel like especially on Instagram, you see all this like, don't do anything for free, like charge what you're worth, know your worth, like kind of BS mumbo jumbo. I think there's a lot to be said about saying like stepping up to the plate and saying like, hey, what can I do to assist? What can I do to give? What can I do to help? And then letting that build the relationship so that there's a lot more than just, oh yeah, that's the photographer.
It's like take. Yeah. It's a give and take relationship, absolutely, not just take.
You know, Gary Vee will talk about this, like jab, right hook, right? Like his marketing book that he came out with. And again, like when I think about it, it's like, I think it's hard at times. It can be hard. I don't know. I've never been in the quite in that area of like service industry where it's like I'm providing a service and I'm a business. But I think it would be hard because like there is certainly people that take advantage of people in that, right?
Oh yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I'm not going to pay for this. Like you know, I'm going to give you scraps, like, and not show value, like not see the value in what you provide. And I think in the creative sphere, or like industry by and large, like it's a really hard place. Like. In whatever you do.
I think from a creative perspective though, to that, Adam, I feel like you kind of have to be a little more self-aware.
Yeah, like where are you in the process? Exactly. Where are you with your ability level?
Relationship to like where you want to be, and kind of be able to reflect and say, hey, you know, maybe what I did wasn't exactly what they were looking for. And or exactly my best work, you know. I mean, it happens to all of us. Like,
but that's business though. Like,
yeah, 100%.
Like that's like we have to act. I tell our team all the time, like we are young as a business, and I think there's a lot of times. So on the other end of that, like a lot of times, like people look at us like, oh man, you're this big comp, like you guys rolling and you got budget for anything, man. Like, why aren't you paying me? It's like
the cost associated.
It ain't like that, yeah.
If
it's
people
not like that, and
if people really understood the costs associated with the competition and putting it together, and all the equipment you have to rent, and that, and the other, it's nuts.
It's why CrossFit has always struggled to make profit in the games, like, and they have to subsidize it with the affiliate, you know, with other aspects of the business. Like, it's why, you know, WFP now has a huge budget that they're pouring into. It's like, I mean, there's a lot of examples of that, and we have to constantly remind our team, like, hey, we're still in infancy here. Like, we got to act our age a bit. You know, we can't outpunt our coverage, whatever you want to say, and say like, man, we're gonna have this huge budget, and all of a sudden, like, you know, we can't pay our podium prizes, or like we can't pay our contractors because like the money ran out, because like a ton of money comes in, registrations, online qualifiers, all that stuff, sponsorships, all that comes in. You have a huge bank of money, and then all that money, a lot of it goes out. And so you're constantly managing this huge influx and then outpour. So you got to really understand where you're at with that. And so I'll just say all that to say, like, you know, we have to be reminded of that. Every business has to be reminded of that. And the same is true for every entrepreneur or business creative. Has to be mindful of where I'm at and the season of life I'm in. And I heard this from, I can't remember who, but Jesse Itzler. He was like, in my 20s, I said yes to everything. In my 30s, I started to delineate what I was going to say yes to and what I was going to say no to. In my 40s and 50s, I say no to a lot more than I say yes. And so I just think about that, like say yes to everything. Like, yes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get all this. I mean, if you're in your 20s, if you're creative, you're just getting started, say yes to everything you absolutely can. And then start to pare that down as you get experience and as you get more proficient at your craft. And as you get more skilled, then you're going to be able to say, no, this is what I charge and this is what it's worth. And you'll be able to.
You're 100% right. So like I'd say what I always tell people is if you're young and starting out, the biggest currency you have is your time.
Absolutely.
So when you know, hey, I want to build a portfolio. Hey, I don't have these assets yet. Hey, I don't really have anything to show a competition to get hired on that. That's when you can volunteer and be on a team and all that kind of stuff and sacrifice some of that. And it's not you're doing it free forever. Like you should always position yourself as like, hey, just so you know, like I'm doing this for free now so I can build up my portfolio. I want to help you guys out. You guys are going to help me by providing the portfolio. And then that's when you enter into that free to fee, right? So, not to get too personal, we might as well just put it on the table here. I created assets for free.
Yep.
Back in, what was that,
2 years ago? Yeah.
2 years ago, right? I needed competition footage. I didn't have it. So everything that I created for CrossFit Magna, the gym, best gym in the Valley, I collaborated with Desert City on Instagram so that you had that footage, you had all of those assets, and then you could pick and choose on which ones you wanted to accept and blah, 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 blah. But I was providing that to you in exchange for that effort.
Yep.
Fast forward, 6 months later, we have, not even 6 months, I think it was like 3 months later, we have the conversation of, hey, we want to switch to an all local Arizona, basically Arizona, it is an Arizona only crew.
Yep.
And we need someone to head it up, and we think, you would be a good fit for that. And we talked a little bit more and all that kind of stuff, and now I'm, an employee on staff with you guys. So you take a short-term sacrifice now with that long-term vision in mind.
Yep.
It could be a great success. Now, I'm not saying that's the perfect scenario for everybody. If you've been in the fitness space and you've been a videographer for 5 to 7 years, maybe more, you should be charging every time you're working an event,
right? Because
you have the portfolio to back it up. You have the work samples. You're well connected in whatever community that you operate in, all of those things. Like you should charge for your services. So that's the two spectrums. Just flat out, like if you're young and upcoming, volunteer. If you are established, you should not be doing stuff for free, because when that established individual does stuff for free, he is then, or she is then, hurting the entire market for everybody else for a creative standpoint.
Yep.
And that's me on my soapbox.
No, I love
but,
it.
I mean,
You're
Chris,
exactly right.
do you agree? Like that's basically from a creative standpoint?
When you take a look at it from a broad spectrum, it ultimately just devalues the entire profession. Like as far as like what JT and I do and provide to people, like it devalues it drastically. I mean, I've I'm not going to give names and whatnot, but I've had a competition reach out to me and say, "Will you take photos of our competition?" And I straight up gave them my nice price, and they're like, "Well, this person charged us this much," and I was like, "Well, this is the best I can do," and then. I don't know what they ended up doing. I think maybe somebody from their gym who wasn't as experienced as a photographer did the photos for them for free, which, again, good for that person. But at some point, you have to understand what you're worth, right?
Well, people get uncomfortable about this conversation, but it's a conversation that needs to happen.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm glad that it's coming out now because, again, yes, you need to know your worth. There's also some sliders in there. Like, hey, I work out at CrossFit Magna. If CrossFit Magna asked me to do something for free, absolutely. Because I love everybody that goes there. I have personal relationships there. Yes. If a random gym in California asked me, I don't know why I said California. I went from Minnesota to California. I'm all over the place today.
We were just in California.
Yeah, that was crazy. A lot of California references. Yeah, you're right. If they hit me up, I'm more likely to say no or to do it for a fee because I don't have those relationships. There needs to be that value add in some way.
Let me ask you guys this. So my
Whoa,
wheels are spinning.
Whoa. Guests aren't allowed to ask questions.
I'm gonna switch it and reverse it here.
He's gonna use this as market information.
Reverse.
So I think a part of it too. I'm wondering for you. Just let's go back to Chris, like that reference. Like, was there a thought in your mind of I'm kind of interviewing them, like in regards to how they view and respect creatives, how they view and respect I mean, in a sense, you are because of if there's some battle on price, like then
absolutely
they don't see your value, right?
Yeah, and I think I just had told this guy, I shoot a lot of real estate, and I just had a realtor call me, and it's a very similar situation to that. I would say this one was maybe more uncomfortable for me, because the real estate realm is where I'm most comfortable, I would say, right? Like, not that I'm uncomfortable shooting CrossFit or anything like that, but that's my bread and butter. Gotcha. Yeah, that's kind of what
he can do it in his sleep.
Yeah, I mean, it's like my full-time thing. That's what
pays the bills.
Yeah, exactly. But I would say 100%. I feel like once you get to this point of establishment, I mean, with that gym specifically, I mean, I can pull up the conversation. I asked them 4 times what their budget was before I got an answer.
Yeah.
And if I'm already needing to ask, a second and a third time what your budget is, I'm probably already know that I'm not going to be shooting your competition. And that's fine, right? It doesn't bother me. But for the price point they were telling me, I was like, I would rather spend that same money and go up to Sedona with my girlfriend for the weekend.
Right.
It would be worth more of my time to enjoy myself than it would be to work for 12 hours at your competition and then work on deliverables for another 12 to 20 hours.
Right.
So what considerations on the competition side then financially come into play? Because I know we've had this conversation, but
I was just gonna say like a couple things that I think of first from the creative standpoint. I think about how are you utilizing these assets? If I give you, I always say this, for a lot of gym owners, it's you can give them all the bells and whistles. You can give them a Ferrari, but they don't know how to drive it. It's useless, right? So it's you can give them all the tools and all the things, right, to be able to run a successful gym, but they got to actually do the work. And the same is true for, if you guys do incredible work, and let's just say use the Road to the Classic stuff that we just did. You guys shoot it all. RIP, lost a drone.
Sore subject. Already
have to go cry.
Damn, triggered. Already have a replacement drone. He's fine.
We're good. So, but I mean, it was a hot day. I think we all got sunburnt at some point. We were out there.
Sorry, Molly.
Molly got
poor
destroyed.
Molly. I'm so sorry.
It was a long day, and we would be remiss if we didn't do anything with those assets. If we just sat on them, we didn't know what to do with them. We didn't have a plan for them. There wasn't a forethought or just all that to be said. For me, I've had to learn that I didn't come I've always had a perspective of marketing, but I'll say there was a time where it was man, can we just do this with my phone? Can we just get some of this stuff with not that lowbrow, but that's kind of how can we just have my buddy, he takes some pictures sometimes, can he just do this? Mm-hmm. And we can get the same effect? No, not even close.
I was gonna say,
there's what you do.
You can do that.
Yeah, you can do
means.
that, but it doesn't. It doesn't have the same effect, right? It's like you're creating an environment through digital media, you're creating an atmosphere, and it's funny because people don't know it until they see it and they feel a certain way about it. They're like, man, I got inspired by that thing, and I don't even know why, right? It's it was a silly reel about a truck going down the road, but there was something that was provoking about that, right? And I think that is what a lot of gym owners or event directors or, business owners in general. I wouldn't even say that, like just, that side of the brain, like a lot of like ops logistics, like just don't get, right?
Yeah.
They think dollars and cents and like what's the bottom line. And there's a lot of investment that goes into, so kind of going what you were getting ready to ask on the event side, I try to work off of percentages.
Okay.
Right. Because if I said, oh, we're just going to do a blanket XK, is going to be in our budget.
Yeah.
Like that really doesn't go over well. It's really a matter of what's our overall percentage that we can run with. That's going to be, a good 10 to 20% or 10 to probably in the realm of like, around 10% of overall gross profit that I'm going to then reallocate toward, our overall marketing as it pertains to media.
Yeah.
Right. And that at least let that be a baseline. And if we need to invest more for certain years, because
additional initiatives, trips to the Dominican Republic, whatever, like stuff comes up.
Stuff, right?
Yep.
Then we invest more. But at least let that be. Now I have a gauge of here's my projection, right? So event will have a projection. Here's what we're projecting. So we projected 1,000 athletes for a qualifier. We just hit it literally on the freaking head.
Chris, did you register? Is that what it was? You pushed it over?
You pushed it.
No, I didn't register.
I think we had one register, like it was crazy, but it was like
A lot of people wanted me to do the lift.
Adam was like sitting there like refreshing. Come on, 1,000. We're
Chris,
almost
come
there.
I kept joking at the gym. I was like, I'm just going to register, do the lift, and that's it.
We can do it right after this. We can do it right after
I
this.
could
cold
not.
turkey.
Come on.
Cold turkey.
Come
I
on.
could not do it right now.
I guess your numbers
Not
right
after
now.
being sick.
So you have registrations
So yeah,
feed in.
so you have what I'm saying is that you have projections, right? Projections of, but I mean that number could be like half of that, right? Like I don't know. But all to be said, like what factors into that number is how much we market, how much we post social, like how much we push, like all of those things have a huge effect on. And I'm not even talking about like. And then it's like guerrilla marketing, like going to gyms and going, so there's all kinds of stuff that happens to be able to push those numbers, building a relationship with the community, like investing in the community, all those things, right? So you have projection numbers and then you have reality, right? So then all of a sudden it's like your qualifier numbers come in and that's what you got. And then it's like, and now we're at a currently right now, I don't know when this will be published, but currently right now as it's, July 9th, we're going through our evaluation of videos. So then we'll send out invites after this. And then those people will register. And that will give us our full number of registration, for our budget. So it's like, so we have a projection that's a little bit further out. And then we have reality, which is like, what we like 5 months out, 4 months out, something like that.
Yeah.
And that's really where it's like, okay, now we can dial in on what we know what our gross revenue is going to be.
Yeah.
And now we can allocate percentages to everything else of what we're going to spend.
So us as creatives, our marketing budget is established through registrations, and then like do sponsorships play a factor?
Huge factor,
Is
yeah.
there anything else that like plays a factor? Just because when I want people
so we're
to like,
different. Sorry. We're different than other competitions. Like, people, for me, sponsorships is a huge part of what we do. Again, partnerships. And for me also, it's like the local brands. I really like it's family. Like I want this to be a partnership that we do together. We grow this together.
Well,
and so,
I mean, how many people have come back year after year at this point?
it's
right?
been awesome.
I see the same faces every year.
Right.
So yeah.
And a big part of that is what we bring, like, and you've been a huge part of that, is like what we bring as value to those sponsorships. So assets that we provide sponsors.
Yep.
So our stage sponsors, elite sponsors, all the way through.
Yep.
Even our vendors get something, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so we try as best we can to position our team to be able to fulfill all of those. So yes, sponsorship plays a factor in that. Obviously, more sponsorship, then we have more deliverables throughout the weekend, which means you have to have a bigger team.
Right.
All of that comes into play. So that's where it's a sliding scale. and percentages matter. So when our gross rev goes up,
Yep.
then the percentage of media goes up,
Right.
and I can allocate more to that, and we can have a conversation of what's our like scraping by, and like we'll barely make it, and everybody's going to be like, eating ramen and sleeping 2 hours and hating life.
I did
be
have
like
a lot
that.
of protein bars last year.
Yeah.
What did I tell Parker before he left? Just give me a place to lie my head in some water, and I'll take pictures.
And I'll do it. I'll do it.
But it's important.
yeah.
It's important to It's important for
we take
creatives
care-
to
we take care
understand.
of our
Yeah, no,
all
yeah.
that.
Let's
Sorry,
clarify.
sorry.
We actually
They bring
provide-
in lunch, they bring in dinner. There's
We provide
breakfast
a
there
lot.
as well. There's a
Yes.
bunch of protein bars and
We
things
may- we
like
may-
there's
yeah.
a lot of
Yeah, we provide a lot.
I'm fine. Jeez,
Massage chairs.
I realized
Yes.
that. I realized that as I was saying that, I'm like, that sounds kind of bad. So I'm glad we were able to collect it. One thing that we haven't hit on is you can go through competition director, owner, all of that kind of stuff. But also another avenue, let's say either those doors are slightly closed or maybe it's a little bit too close. If you network yourself properly within the creative space, you are bound to know someone that is a photographer or a videographer that's working that event. I can't tell you how many times that if I was too late to the game to get on the media team, or their media team was already filmed, or their media not filmed. I don't know why I say filmed. Video's always on my mind. Their video, like all that stuff's already allocated as far as the financial budget. You can still rely on that network that you establish, which is what we're trying to establish with this podcast, is the idea of, hey, if I know Chris is, going to be at an event, I can hit up Chris. Hey, Chris, like, I know you're coming in. Like, does anyone need help too? Like, can I help you? Like, can I be yours secondhand? Can I? Mm-hmm. And that's like another way to get involved in competitions that I think people completely overlook because we're so fixated. And I'm guilty of this. I'll be the first one to admit it. I'm so fixated on who am I filming for? Who am I like? Why don't I also consider how can I help the existing people that are going? Or how can I attach myself to someone else that is there, whether it's an on-camera personality that I can film or whether it's another videographer, another photographer that I can, offshoot. And, maybe the financial thing's not there. How about just helping out a friend too?
Right.
And like providing more value for that friend.
Yeah, I think to touch on that too, I think there's a lot to be said about the relationships you build, because for me, if somebody is reaching out to JT to ask him and he's like, I feel like this person could assist, like, let's say, example, Desert City, somebody who's more looking to be in the photography side of things but knows JT, and he's like, well, I'm going to be focusing more on video or whatever, like, let me put you on Chris's hip. Mm-hmm. And I will take that because of the relationship me and JT have. I trust that person just as much as I trust JT because I trust his word.
Yep.
I think the idea of like building connections, building relationships, like especially with good people. I mean,
Right.
it says a lot,
I mean, you see that on the volunteer side all the time, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like you, and what I've appreciated about you and how you led last year and how you're leading this year is like you are empowering other people to get the most out of them, right? And so, whether it be on the photography side with like, hey, Chris is gonna be our lead on photography, and everything's gonna flow through that. Or there's different structures, right? So it's like video is going to be this, editing is going to be this, like sponsor is going to be this. This person is what I'm referencing. So like you have these people and these particular gifts and or these particular areas, and there's basically like subgroups off of the whole media team, mm-hmm. right? And so like when we have a structure that way, it's easy to see for somebody else to like understand how to play the game, right? Understand how to put themselves in. And when it's kind of a hodgepodge mess and like nobody really has clear defined roles and everybody's kind of doing everything and there's not really that structure, it's really hard I would think it'd be hard for somebody like outside be like, where do I fit? It's like, how do I jump into this? And so, asking questions, I guess going to that is like asking questions about the structure, asking questions about like different quote unquote departments and different areas and different focuses. Like,
right. Like have the competition like sell you a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, hey, like yes, I'm interested and I really want to film for this or I really want to take photos for this competition, but what's the what's going on with the competition? Because I don't want to just show up and kind of go crazy.
Yeah.
Like, what do you guys got going on? And show that interest level. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like you want to be a part of a competition or part of a business that has some forethought in their structure and some understanding of how they can best utilize the whole, right? We don't want a bunch of idle hands or like a bunch of talent that's just like
not
all
doing
right,
anything.
what are we doing?
Yeah.
Michael Jordan on the sidelines, like, why isn't he playing?
Yeah.
Like, what's
Fun
going
fact:
on?
I sat the bench most of my high school basketball career. So
There you go.
yeah.
Well, we said Michael
We wouldn't have-
Jordan.
yeah,
on the
we wouldn't have
sidelines,
guessed
not
that.
JT Healy on the sidelines.
Yeah.
What's the pose? It's kind of hard. 'Cause I'm
What
sitting
position
down.
do you play?
Okay, so I
Or do you know?
peaked
Do you know
in
the-
7th grade
You were tall.
athletically, 6 foot. Okay,
Yep.
did not grow a centimeter
Yep.
from 7th grade until today.
Now
he
he's
has.
So
5'11".
I was a 6 foot forward going against guys that were like 6'5", 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah.
My coach used to send me in there to get a technical on their best player on the other team. That was my role.
I could see it, dude. He has that hairline as a 7th grader and beard.
I had this size head.
And the
I had the
beard.
head. I had the head for
I
sure.
could definitely see that.
Yeah.
You're like, show me a birth certificate. That guy's shady.
this is very
He's
topical.
dry.
And
This is all very topical
bench
because
warmers.
it's all very topical because last night I asked for people to roast me, yet neither one of you came back with these responses.
No, I
just throwing it out there.
I did like the responses though. It was funny.
I came
Yeah.
back with a response.
Ooh.
I know you did.
Yeah, you know I did.
I can't share that one though. It's very inappropriate.
I'll share it.
Okay.
He shoots Sony.
Oh.
That's all that needs to be said.
Yeah, better camera.
That's the podcast rivalry.
Adam, any parting shots here? Any last words of wisdom?
I just go back to partnership, man. Like with this conversation and the conversations that we had, it's a shared vision and equal sacrifice. And so we're going to sacrifice as an event. Like me individually as an event director, I'm sacrificing for the betterment of the whole. Anybody that comes into that on our team, that's going to be a team player. Like I think about, sports and that whole aspect. It's like everybody's sacrificing for the whole. And so when you do that, like we're all going to win. And it may not be, we may take some losses, right? And you may take an individual loss. You may not score the most points or whatever, have the individual accolades. But that when the team wins, you win, and we continue to win. And that's how we build, greatness. So continue that. If you do that, man, your path to success is going to be wide and go far for sure.
Adam Everett, ladies and gentlemen.
Here we go.
Heck yeah, buddy.
See you next episode.
Peace.
Next time.
This pre-workout started kicking.
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
Well, that's a wrap on this episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Capture the Reps podcast. If you're a fitness creative and you found this episode helpful, please share this with a fellow creative and keep creating, keep learning, and keep capturing those reps. We'll see you next time.